What's going on, my beautiful people? Hello everyone, welcome to another video. My name's Kemal AA, and this is another Chelsea transfer news daily video for you guys. Where I keep you guys up to date with all the latest Chelsea news in the past 24 hours. News on Antonio Rudiger signing an extension worth £200,000 a week. We'll also be speaking about Romelu Lukaku. According to various Italian news outlets and publications, Lukaku may be valued at £85 million. And of course, Erling Haaland, finally, we have a price of how much it's going to cost and take to sign Erling Haaland this summer, according to the reliable Dean Jones. But before I do get into it, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification. But without further ado, let's get straight into this news daily and starting off with the news about Antonio Rudiger. And according to Eurosport UK, Antonio Rudiger and his representatives realise they are now in a strong position of negotiation with Chelsea over a new contract and could potentially push for a figure closer to £200,000 a week per week. He currently earns around £140,000 a week. Now, Antonio Rudiger, he's not in Chelsea's top 10 highest earners, which is quite baffling if you think about it from a logical and a financial perspective. You know, when Rudiger signed for Chelsea back in 2017, you know, in that whole summer when Chelsea won the Premier League title, when we were champions of England, he was the only good player that we signed if you think about it. We blew £220 million down the drain with your Bakayokos, your Zapakostas, your Drinkwaters, your Moratas. Like, that summer just gives me pure PTSD. Signing absolute dross the whole time, and it set us back years because a lot of these players are still on the cards at Chelsea. We can't get fees for them because, of course, Marina, she puts a very high fee on all these players. It deters clubs from signing them. And they end up getting loaned around Europe for 5-6 years, and it doesn't really benefit the player. It doesn't benefit Chelsea, and it's a lose-lose situation. So, you know, we're still paying the price for that disastrous summer. The only good player that came out of that was, of course, Antonio Rudiger, and he signed a £140,000 a week deal at the time. Now, of course, he had a bit of a rocky, rocky career at Chelsea. You know, he started off well. Of course, he played, you know, consistently on Antonio Conte. He played consistently on Sarri, guiding us to an FA Cup and Europa League. And then, of course, on the Lampard's, he sustained a significant injury and he never really got back in the team. And towards the end of Lampard's reign, he fell out of Lampard. It's as simple as that. And he simply fell out of Lampard towards the end of his reign. Yes, he sustained some long-term injuries, but there was definitely, you know, stuff going on behind the scenes. He wasn't in favour. You know, he was fourth choice, fifth choice centre-back. He never got a look in. Rudiger completely fell out of Lampard. And ever since Lampard's been sacked, ever since Thomas Tuchel, the legend, has walked through those double doors at Cobham, he's played consistent minutes week in, week out, and he's arguably been one of our best top performers at Chelsea. And him not being in the top 10 highest earners is not right for his consistency, for his quality. You know, he's in the prime of his career now. This will be his last big contract, so he has to, of course, have time to think about this. His current deal expires next summer, in the summer of 2022, and of course, Chelsea, if he is going to go, they're not going to want to let Rudiger go on a free. If he is going to go, they're going to get some transfer fee, of course. They're going to want to get compensation for Rudiger's services. But I do believe that Rudiger will sign a contract extension. I think £200,000 a week, some may look at this and think it's too extortionate, but at the end of the day, with the inflation that's going around in football right now, £200,000 a week for a top centre-back is about average. It's about average at this day and age, and with the performances Rudiger's been putting in for the past 4 or 5 months, for me it's fully deserved. I think I wouldn't really go over £200,000 a week. I wouldn't be too keen to go over that figure, but I think £200,000 a week for a player that's already been at the club for 4 years. He's in the prime of his career. He brings a lot of qualities in terms of leadership, in terms of direction, in terms of steadying the ship. He brings consistency. He can play in the back two. He can play in the back three. Very, very consistent. Of course, in emergency situations, he can also play right back as well. So for me, him offering his versatility, his leadership qualities and attributes, of course, you know, we see his Hollywood passes week in, week out. He's a very, very competent ball-playing centre-back. And for what Tuchel wants, I think he'll stay. I think that he's been a massive advocate of Tuchel. Tuchel loves him. Tuchel loves Rudiger. I think Rudiger's going to be staying. I think eventually we will get a negotiation. They're just waiting for the Euros to end. Of course, Germany, they face England later on. We'll definitely be watching that. But whenever Germany go out, or if they end up winning the competition, after the Euros, they'll sit down together, the Chelsea hierarchy, his reps, himself, and they'll discuss a new contract extension. But that is the latest news on Antonio Rudiger. He's closing in on a new contract extension worth £200,000 a week. What do you guys think? Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. But let's move on to other news in regards to the striker position. According to Corriere dello Sport, Inter Milan have set a minimum asking price of €100 million for Romelu Lukaku amid interest from Chelsea and Manchester City. An exceptional offer would have to be made for negotiations to begin. Now, one thing I have to mention about Inter Milan is Inter Milan did Chelsea dirty with Achraf Hakimi. You know, they really wanted Marcos Alonso. We gave them 55 million euros plus Marcos Alonso. We were willing to put the deal down. We wanted Hakimi at Chelsea because, of course, Hakimi was a long-term club target. We weren't desperate for him, but we really wanted him. And, of course, you know, Inter wanted Alonso and we're willing to offer Alonso. And now Hakimi's on his way to PSG. That deal's, of course, imminent. So now it's simply a case of, you know, Inter Milan, you better watch your backs. Are you going to do Chelsea dirty again and put an astronomical asking price once again? Of course, Lukaku is going to be unlikely, and the simple fact is that he came out a month ago in an interview and he said that, you know, he's really happy at Inter Milan. He loves life in Milan. You know, he just won a Scudetto. You know, he had a phone call with the new manager Simeone Inzaghi, who is a new Inter Milan manager. He loves the project that he's proposing to him. Of course, he's going to be the star man at Inter Milan, whereas at Chelsea, he wouldn't necessarily be the star man. And of course, Chelsea did him dirty in the past. You know, we never put our faith and trust in him. He might think of it as, you know, well, Chelsea, you never put your faith and trust in me. Why should I come back to you? So he could look at it with that type of attitude. And of course, he's already declared that he's staying. You know, when you come out publicly and you mention those things, and then if you end up signing with Chelsea, what does that do for your image? What does that do for your PR? Now, PR, it gets mocked a lot, you know, public relations, but it's an important factor. If you want to win individual awards, if you want to be well known, if you want to be known as one of the greatest, PR is very, very important. So, of course, it does damage your PR and your image. And I don't see how you can publicly come out and say that, you know, you're going to be staying Inter Milan and then you decide to sign for Chelsea in the same summer window. It doesn't make any sense, and it does have a bit of a snaky vibe. So I don't see Lukaku being realistic. However, if Chelsea were in a very desperate situation and we put the cash on the table, you know, we're talking like astronomical extortionate fee, you know, over 100 million euros, which 100 million euros is about 85 million pounds. If Chelsea put 90 million, 95 million pounds on the table, I think Inter Milan would have to budge. Of course, the tax is already ended. The tax is ending tomorrow. They've got the finances from the Hakimi deal. They're not that desperate for cash anymore. However, if we put an extortionate fee over 100 million euros, of course, that's going to be raising Inter Milan's finances. That's going to put them in a much more financially stronger position. And of course, Lukaku wouldn't say no to Chelsea. Even though he's happy at Milan, he still wouldn't say no to Chelsea because, of course, Chelsea, a much bigger club and a league club in Europe. We know we're champions of Europe. He's got history with Chelsea. He would, of course, be our starting number 9. So, again, Lukaku wouldn't say no to Chelsea, but he would rather stay at Inter Milan, especially with the current situation at the moment. And I think we'd only sign Lukaku if Chelsea were seriously desperate. And that is if, in my personal opinion, that is if Erling Haaland fell through. And I'll be speaking about him in a moment. But what do you guys think? Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Personally, I've always said, you know, I rate Lukaku. He's a fantastic striker. He's fast, strong, powerful. He's improved his first touch. He's got good link-up play now, better. I just don't think that he really suits Thomas Tuchel's style of play. And I've already stressed because, you know, at Inter Milan, he was relying on those systems that Conte put in place. They were playing heavily on the counter-attack. He had a lot of space. To exploit and to move into. And at Chelsea, you won't get that space. You know, we're going to be dominating possession with our vertical tiki-takas, your gegenpressing style of football. You know, you're going to be coming up against teams with low/mid blocks. You're not going to have many spaces in the lines. You know, you're going to have to be intricate with your passing. You're going to have exceptional link-up play, which, even though his link-up play is good, it's not exceptional. And I think you have to have exceptional link-up play. And I think if Lukaku gets him Chelsea, he would face the same fate as Timo Werner, coming up against low blocks, not much space around. You know, his numbers won't be anywhere near as high as they are in Serie A. Hence why I'm not too keen. But as a striker himself, I think he's, you know, he fits perfectly the way Inter Milan want to play. Now, what do you guys think? Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. But finally, let's speak about Erling Haaland. And finally, praise the Lord, we have more information. We haven't got recycled news anymore. We've got more exclusive information on Erling Haaland, and we now know exactly what Dortmund want as a fee for Erling Haaland, which is massive news. According to Dean Jones, who's actually got exclusive connections with Borussia Dortmund, he said in his quotes, because he did a video with the Football Terrace, he said, if Roman Abramovich is able to pay what it takes to get Haaland now, then I think he'll do it. Dortmund source told me it would be around £160 million to get Haaland this summer. Now, I've said that £160 million, it's not £160 million. He meant €160 million. Now, €160 million equates to about £125 million. Now, for me, from what we've been hearing in the past few weeks, that Dortmund might want £150 million. Compare that to £125 million, suddenly things look a lot more realistic, and suddenly things looking more more in Chelsea's favour, which of course is fantastic news. That's massive news. If it is true, if Haaland is valued at £125 million by Borussia Dortmund, I think Chelsea have to be all over this still. I think that yes, we could potentially even drive that price down further, maybe between 115 to 120 million pounds. Because let's not forget, you know, if they don't sell Haaland this summer, they're going to lose him for 68 million pounds next year, because that's exactly the value of the release clause that kicks in next summer. So if they're going to get an extra 40-50 million this summer, I think that they'd buy, because you're still making an extra 40-50 million pounds profit in revenue. So I think Dortmund would buy. In fact, I think if it is true that, you know, he's valued at about 125 million pounds, Chelsea have to snap their hand off. Give us Erling Haaland right now, because from what we were hearing, it's always around that 150, 160 value. But it looks like it's going to be a bit cheaper than that. So of course, it's happy days. It's fantastic news. He said that this is something that's been a slow build since the turn of the year, and Chelsea are just starting to believe that they might have a chance of getting him this summer. So things are really hottening up for the Erling Haaland saga. Of course, I'll keep you guys up to date, so make sure your eyes are peeled. Hit that notification bell, smash that subscribe button, because I'll be giving you guys constant exclusive Erling Haaland updates daily if possible, and of course on Chelsea transfer news and other positions, of course, centre back, midfield, fullback, etc. But that is me wrapping up the news daily. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see all of you guys for the next video. Peace.